What's up everyone, welcome back to another What If video. Last time, we covered what happened when Zamasu and Goku Black arrived to the future, where things didn't go too well for either side. For one, the evil Kai and his other self were able to kill Shin, which means in turn, Beerus died too. But on the other hand, Trunks and Gohan were able to kill Goku Black. Not knowing how to defeat someone who's immortal, they decide the best course of action is to retreat, so they fake their own deaths and then go into the past. This timeline obviously isn't safe right now, so they're going to go back to the past once again. The last part actually ended off with them going back to the past and Bulma finding them, so let's pick up from here. Unlike how Trunks showed up unconscious, Gohan and Trunks are actually conscious and know where they are, alongside Bulma and Chi-Chi who are with them. Bulma decides to call everyone over so Gohan and Trunks can explain what's happening. Soon enough, Goku and Vegeta appear and they get filled in on everything. Beerus and Wiese are with them as well, to which Gohan and Trunks start profusely apologizing. It's a little awkward since they don't know what Gohan and Trunks are apologizing for, but then they actually start to explain what happened, because they know Beerus will be pretty mad once he hears this. So everyone finds out what happened in the future timeline. Babidi and Dabura showed up and were defeated pretty easily, then Gohan and Trunks trained at Shin, and now they were training with Beerus, until whatever just happened. Which they go on to explain next about Zamasu and how there's some immortal Kai going around killing gods. Just like they expected, Beerus was pretty pissed off about this. Not blaming them because obviously it's not their fault that there's some immortal Kai going around, but he's mad at this Zamasu guy, and he immediately wants to go with Whis to find wherever this guy is. And Whis knows he's in Universe 10, so they decide to pay Gowasu a visit. While Beerus and Whis leave, in the meantime, everyone begins catching up on Earth. I mean, it's a pretty rare opportunity that you get to meet your future self. Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, and Chi-Chi end up meeting future Bulma and Chi-Chi, who they didn't even realize were alive. I mean, of course, Bulma would also want to talk to her future self about the time machine. It's a pretty interesting development, and it's impressive that she was able to make it with spare parts during some sort of apocalypse, basically. And Chi-Chi, being Chi-Chi, would want to meet her future self. Also, her future self would probably want to meet her past self, as well as past Gohan. Of course, this would be some nice closure for her, although it would be a little sad for her to meet Goten because she was never able to have another kid with Goku. But seeing Goku again, as well as seeing another version of Gohan, that's sort of comforting, even if she still has her own Gohan with her. And speaking of that, Gohan and Trunks speak to their past selves once again. Well, for Trunks, the last time he saw himself, he was a baby. But present Trunks is actually pretty happy to meet his future self. He thinks it's kinda cool. Both Gohans, of course, remember each other since they trained together, and they're both pretty impressed with each other. I'll have to get into it in another video, but it'll be pretty brief since there aren't too many differences in this timeline, but there are some that I want to cover. One of them being, of course, that Gohan did keep up his training for a little bit, but he doesn't have Ultimate. He was eventually able to access Super Saiyan 2, and although he hasn't been training a lot recently, he's still been keeping up. Given the peacetime, it's not too surprising for future Gohan. If he were in peace, he would also want to become a scholar like his past self. But nonetheless, he's impressed that he was still able to keep up with his training anyways. And of course, present Gohan's pretty amazed with how strong his future self is. I mean, he was strong and motivational before, but now it's a completely different person basically. He's technically a god now. He and Trunks both have that Super Saiyan God form that Gohan witnessed when Goku and Vegeta got theirs, which now makes present Gohan kinda want this form for himself too. This meetup is pretty heartwarming and fun for everyone. But let's get to the other side of the story with Beerus and Whis. They end up arriving in Universe 10, and they meet up with Gowasu and confront Zamasu. Gowasu is obviously pretty confused with what's happening and why Beerus and Whis are here, especially now with these allegations that his apprentice is now some sort of bad guy. Gowasu isn't really too quick to believe this, while Zamasu is shocked and kinda nervous now that Beerus is here accusing him of this. Beerus then backs it up with evidence, telling them about what happened with Gohan and Trunks in the future, and how this Kai is now responsible for his death, as well as Shin who tagged along but isn't really saying anything. Gowasu doesn't really know what to believe, so he asks Zamasu to tell him the truth. Zamasu does end up revealing that he does have a secret hatred for mortals, but he wasn't planning on acting on it anytime soon. The thought crossed his mind, but he went against it. However, now he speaks up to Beerus, getting mad about these mortals time traveling, and how mortals aren't supposed to do that. And I mean, he's kinda right, using the time machine isn't really allowed. However, Whis steps up in the debate and says that they're technically Kais, so they should be allowed to time travel. He doesn't bring up the fact that they use a time machine, but if they're Kais, they would be able to use the time ring and do it, so there's nothing wrong with it. Beerus quietly thanks Whis for saving his back there. So Zamasu does back down and he confesses, and Gowasu is pretty glad that Beerus and Whis brought this up. The next step is for Gowasu to put Zamasu into some Kai rehab or something, or at least keep him under strict watch and try and train him so he's not going to act out in the future. And the fact that he's been ratted out already means he's not going to want to act up because people will be expecting it. Alright, so problem solved. But that means that this Zamasu isn't the one causing the issues. It means that there's actually 2 other Zamasus running around. Well, one now because Goku Black's dead, but it means that those other ones actually went through with their plans. Since this one hasn't acted on his thoughts yet. Beerus was actually planning on killing him now, but he knows that that won't affect anything, since he now notices that this isn't the same Zamasu that Future Gohan and Trunks were telling him about. Now they're kinda out of ideas and can't think of anything to do, so they return back to Universe 7, thanking Gowasu for his help, and telling him to keep Zamasu under watch. Beerus, Wiese, and Shin end up arriving back on Earth and tell them what happened, and how they found out about Zamasu being a different one than the one in Future Gohan's timeline. And that's kind of an issue because that means Beerus can't do anything about it. If Zamasu is immortal in the future, even if they brought Beerus back with them, well, he can't Hakai them because Hakai doesn't work on immortal people. So now they need to come up with some other idea. Everyone tries thinking, and Goku suggests using Zeno to help, but Beerus instantly scolds him for even suggesting this, not wanting Zeno to get involved. Gohan and Trunks agree with Beerus' judgment. They're wary of it too since they know about Zeno and what he's capable of, so they don't want him getting involved either. So they can't kill him, and they can't just have Zeno show up because that would be disastrous. They can't even wish away his immortality with the Super Dragon Balls because in their timeline that would be too risky to even search for them and they might not even be active, while in the present timeline they were just recently used so they can't do that either. So unless they want to wait a year for that, what is their other option? Well, Piccolo brings up the idea of using the Mafuba, like what was used against his father. Zamasu's a completely different threat, but containing people might work. Yeah, he's immortal so he's immune to death, but he's not immune to containment. Everyone actually thinks this is a pretty good idea and it's worth trying, so Goku decides to take Gohan and Trunks to Master Roshi to see if they could train for it. Roshi already knows of Future Trunks and Gohan from before, but actually getting to train with them is a pretty cool opportunity, and he's glad to help them. It's not like he turned it down anyways. So the 2 of them decide to try and learn it, and Goku also tries to learn it for himself because why not? So the 3 of them train for a bit, and after about a few days, they're successful. They have mastery of the technique and they've practiced it enough so that they could use it on Zamasu and probably be able to defeat him easily. Well, as long as the technique works. Since they're not entirely sure if the plan will actually work, they decide they're going to head back alone first with the time ring, no one else will come. Because in case it doesn't work, they don't want to waste the fuel in the time machine, because that would leave Bulma and Chi-Chi stranded. They ask Shin and he thinks that this is a great idea, and he's able to get his hands on 2 time rings for them which they could use temporarily. So the 2 of them go back alone, and they decide to start searching for Zamasu. They don't even know where to start looking first. Thankfully though, it doesn't seem like he's hit Earth yet, but now the 2 of them actually gotta go out and find him. They are able to eventually locate his key, and they use the Kai Kai to teleport to where he is. Zamasu's pretty surprised to see them because he thought they were dead, but no matter, he can actually kill them this time. Once he gets rid of these nuisances, then the Zero Mortals plan will go unchallenged. Gohan decides to fight him as a distraction while Trunks will use the technique to seal him. The 2 apprentice Kais clash. While Trunks watches from the side, waiting for an opportunity, he sets up the container and he's ready. Gohan suddenly jumps back, with Zamasu confused as to what's going on. He then looks over at Trunks, and it's too late. He gets caught up in a wave of energy, unable to escape, while Gohan grabs the container to hold it out for Trunks. Trunks flings Zamasu into the container, with Gohan sealing it, covering up Zamasu for good. They didn't forget the seal this time either, they wanted to make sure this would work. It appears that the technique actually did end up working, and now Zamasu's sealed away for good, and they don't have to deal with him any longer. They return back with the container, giving everyone the good news and thank them for their help. Beerus and Wiese take the container so they can dispose of it, and Beerus is pretty impressed with the effort of these 2. While they aren't training under him in this timeline, he trusts the judgment of his future self and realizes that these are actually good students, and congratulates them for their victory, and now he tells the students to go revive his future self. It seems going back in time was the right idea because now they're victorious, and they thank everyone for helping, so they get future Bulma and Chi-Chi and head back, in the time machine this time. After arriving back, they immediately go to New Namek using the Kai Kai, and thankfully it seems Zamasu hasn't gotten to this planet either. Trunks has never been here, but Gohan's actually kinda nostalgic. This isn't the same Namek that he was at before, but it gives him memories of his time there. Some Namekians there, such as Mori and Dende, remember Gohan, and are impressed to see how much he's grown. They're glad to help and give them the Dragon Balls, and they give their 3 wishes: revive Shin, revive Kibito, and restore all the damage done by Zamasu and Goku Black. The Namekians do have one question though. Doesn't Earth have its own set of Dragon Balls? Why are they here now? Gohan explains what happened on Earth since they were at Namek, and while everything's all good now, the Namekians are sad to hear this. Wanting to show gratitude from when they saved the Namekians back when Frieza attacked their old planet, they decide they should throw Earth a bone and give them a new guardian. And of course that guardian is Dende. It's been a long time since Dende saw the Earthlings, but he's still grateful for everyone helping out and he's glad that Gohan's here again. The funny thing here is that would technically mean that Gohan and Trunks are Dende's superior by default because they are apprentice Kais. So Dende's kinda like their new employee, I guess? I don't know. And while they have no use for the Dragon Balls right now, it's good that they're back on Earth just in case, and that they have a guardian once again. Gohan and Trunks return to Beerus and Shin, who are proud of their students, and thank them for not only saving them, but this timeline as a whole. And to avoid anything like this in the future, I guess Shin would want to show them where the time rings are this time so they don't have to go with a time machine again. It's good to prevent that same mistake from happening twice. So now with that out of the way, what happens now? Well, we'll call this a temporary ending. The Universe 6 tournament hasn't happened, meaning Zeno won't get the idea for the Tournament of Power either, and by extension that means no Broly movie. Will the Moro arc happen? Probably, but I'm not going to do that right now because I want to wait for that arc to finish first before I cover it in a What If. So this will be a temporary hiatus for this What If not the finale. Maybe Champa could still visit in the future and have the Universe 6 tournament happen, but I digress. We'll have to save that for another time. Besides that, I might do a video covering what happened in the present timeline, because like I mentioned, some things have changed, but it's not a lot. But yeah, I guess this is where this scenario ends. So what did you guys think about this scenario? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and suggest anything you want to see in the future. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, and if you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon to get notified of any future parts of this What If there are any, and any other videos that I make on my channel. Thank you all for watching, thank you for supporting this What If, and I'll see you on my next video.